PlayStation 5 motherboard. Let me show you what is going on. This will be the first time I've looked at it as well, so see what we have to deal with. Oh, that's pretty, but not catastrophic, at least on this side. Yeah, that got pretty well smashed up there. It is missing a diode. It is missing parts here. That's going to be a problem. Yeah, let me contact my client about that, because that is going to be a problem. I do not have donors for that, and I do not have parts in stock for that, so I'm not even sure what those parts are exactly. At the time of this recording, the PS5s are still pretty new, so anyway, it looks like they attempted to solder or desolder this. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay, I'm going to pause this recording, and we'll be back. Okay, thanks to the Game Console Repair Legion on Facebook, I may have a solution to our PS5 problem. Switch you back to microscope. So according to them, I can make this DJ diode right here work. I am looking at the right one. Yep, that big one right there. So I'm going to pull this DJ diode. I may have to do some modifying because this diode is bigger than the diode on theirs. I have curious if that little diode will work, but well, I'm going to go with what they said, and we'll pull this diode right here off this PS4 donor. Same temperatures. Well, I don't think I've actually posted the temperatures on this one, so we'll throw the temps up while I get my glove and stuff on. These are the expected temperatures. As always, they are subject to change. I will note if they change. Verbally, I probably will not update the card. Okay, let's pull this diode. Being a donor, I don't really care about everything else, other than I like to use the parts on the donor board. So, being a PS4 board, it will take patience. All right, got it. I'm going to release it and let that one part of the tweezers hold it, so we do not send it flying somewhere. And then we'll put it in our little tray, move it aside, and grab our PS4. I don't know if I should go ahead and just remove the port first. Probably would make some sense, seeing how I'm probably going to have to do some modifications, but I would like to take a look and see what kind of modification I need to do. They did warn me that they would probably take modification. Okay, so what I may do, let's just figure this out before we get to proceeding with this repair. What I may do is solder it in this orientation and then run a wire up to that leg there. So yeah, I think it would behoove us to remove the port first, so we're not messing with that later. I'm going to stick this off far away so we do not blow it away. But yeah, we're going to remove this port and replace it, and then we'll worry about the diode. Of course, I will not be able to show you the final results of this because I have only the board. This is for another shop, but that's fine. We'll do our best and hope it works. We will do what we always do in this scenario. We will flood it with low melt, and then we'll basically blow it off the board and go from there. Actually, this is a soldering wig, so I'm not going to... I was about to mute you and continue with my work, but I actually do commentary during this soldering. I'm not going to lie, I prefer the other one. I guess I don't really have to do commentary, just I don't fast forward. But I try to use as little music as possible on these. Yeah, we don't have to be careful about the parts. They're already gone. The capacitor is non-critical, so we will not be replacing that capacitor. Again, thanks to the Repair Legion, I had no clue about that. I had to go inquire. That group is a very good group to be a part of if you have Facebook. A bunch of really knowledgeable guys. I am often in there helping people with switch problems myself. So if you ever want to get in there and pick my brain about one, feel free. Of course, you can always pick my brain here too. I am happy to help wherever. I'm also in most everybody's Discord. At Micromage is on Discord. I may eventually make my own, but right now I don't see the point. Maybe if we grow some more, that will make sense. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in those pins. You know what? I'm just not going to mess with those pins because that capacitor is so close. And we don't need to lose another part, even though it's a non-critical part as well. Alright. Let's blow this thing off the board. Sorta, kinda. Make sure we don't have any additional damage to deal with too. It looks like they did some, or attempted to do some rework here, so you never know. You know what? I think I'm going to throw some protection over that plastic port right next to me. A shield and a shunt. Sorry, not a shunt, shim. Let's just not do any additional damage if we can avoid it. And we can avoid it. We're going to have to be a little more patient because we're not low melting those pins, so. I would have expected it to be moving by now though. a PS4 of you. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at those pins. Now, I don't see any copper on them, so that's good. That's really what you don't want to see when you pick this up. Oh, actually, I do maybe see some pads on there. Yeah, I definitely pull pads. Alright, this is going to be a more in-depth repair than we thought. On multiple fronts. I think we see pads on there. Let's take a look. No? Okay. You kind of fooled me with the way the solder was looking on these pins. Well, that really looks like we pulled pads, but we didn't. Heh. Weird. I've never seen that happen. Anyway, good. That's good news. We're not going to complain. I'm going to mix some leaded into these guys. Yeah, they're all there. That's really good news. Alright. Let's get to wicking here. May have to add some more low melt to those. Going to be very gentle here and precise. Do not want to suck up our remaining capacitor here. I know it's not critical, but I take a little bit of pride in not destroying people's stuff. Whoever attempted to work on this left something to be desired. Not that I've never destroyed somebody's stuff on accident, like that recent occasion where I accidentally broke an iPad board, but that was a total accident. It wasn't a lack of ability or knowledge. It was a slip of the hand, which can happen. But in this case, they tried to desolder that port, and apparently they did it with a shovel. At least that's what it looks like. I don't think I've ever seen a case where the damage looked like that, but it could have just been the damage. But I don't know how they would have raked both parts off the bottom like that, if that's were the case. I'm just theorizing, though. I wasn't there. Alright, see if we can get this stuff to wick again. I've pretty much been forced to, well, I have a choice, but I feel like it's been best to switch to this Wick. Primarily because I can't find a good source for tech spray. This Wick has been very good, by the way, so I'm not complaining about it. So it's struggling with this job at the moment. Let's clean off all this old flux and we'll come at it from the other side. As once again, we are not concerned with the parts that are normally close to the other side, because they're already gone. See if we have any more success from this side. Alright, that one's good. That one's good. Might as well get these pads while we're here. Still getting a little bit of fold here. I think we have some in that one, but we'll clean it and see. Nope, we're clear. Very cool. There was definitely some damage done there. Some lovely 6337 Kester solder on. Okay, well, we gotta get that last pad. Last pad being very stubborn. There we go. Alright. Grab another port. We'll do the port like we kind of always do the port. We'll flow it in first. Make sure it's nice and flat on the board. FYI, you can see up there in the top left, this is just a sticky note. I found it to be great for transporting the board. Just stick it right over there and you won't get liquid metal all over your bag or whatever you're transporting the board in. Simple tool. Sometimes it's the right tool. Alright, focused in on those pins. I have solder hanging around somewhere where it can get us in trouble. Off the area. All we're trying to do is flow those pins in. But we want to do it via the board getting hot enough to wet the solder. We don't want to be directing the heat in there because we will melt things like the port itself, which we don't want to do. So you just gotta move the air around in a localized area, but you don't want it ever to sit in one place for too long enough to melt plastic. Eventually the board will get hot enough to melt this solder. I promise. Oops. Start focusing a little more in that area. We're getting wetting now. Very good. Looks like everything is wetted. So I'm going to hold down the port, move the air, and hold it down until I'm sure the solder has dried. Now this is the port that motivated me to start using this method because of the capacitor there. Trying to hand solder or do whatever method it is where you're just applying solder all over the place and then removing the bridges. It's a little more difficult when there's parts that close by. Let's see how we did. We want every pin to be solid, otherwise we'll need to do some more flowing. Alright, excellent. I think Most of the diode work will be hand solderable, I think. We'll find out. So ideally I'd prefer not to use hot air around the port, which we just put back on with 6337 solder. It's much better solder than what they use in manufacturing, but it is lower temperature. Something you always got to keep in mind when working around something you just soldered with leaded solder. Leaded solder is much less brittle. I mean, much less prone to fracturing. There's a reason why they use it in space over unleaded. I want the heat to transfer real well through to the other side, because we need feed through to the other side. Let's see how we did. We may need to apply more or not. Yeah, relatively decent feed through. Good. That port is solid. All right. Clean off some of this old flux, and then I'll come back and we'll do the diode. Okay, now we need to do a little bit of prepping here. I want to put some leaded solder on this here pad and this here pad, because we'll be doing both. And like I said, I'll be attempting to do most of the rest of this by hand, so the Pico pencil will probably get broken out for this repair for the jumper running. Alright, let's grab our diode. Place them in the right orientation. There's our orientation mark. There's the mark on the diode. I don't know if you can see it in the video. Probably not, because we're not very well focused. There you go. You can see it there. If you ever have a question about this and it doesn't have an orientation, typically that mark will go on the ground side, so you can take your meter and in continuity and beep it out. And the side that beeps is the side where you want the line, typically. Anode or cathode side, and I think it's cathode side. Don't get me lying. Alright, we are in place and solid. So now we need to run a jumper around, and that's where we want it. So we'll grab our Pico pencil and put some solder on him. A little bit of focus. This is not the I'm probably have to do some scraping on that. A little less awkward, please. Well, let's move it all the way even further. There we go. Should be adequate. Alright, we'll just cut off the excess because I don't want that much uncovered wire over there. So okay, and we need to route him over to that other side of the diode. And for that, we may use, we'll try the Pico pencil, but we may have to end up using the micro pencil. Get it on there. The pick open, so might get it done. I do believe it did. Very nice. It never ceases to surprise me what it can do. It does have its limitations, but they're not what you would think. Alright. Let's break off this part. We don't need that on there. It's on there. Now this is somebody on the Facebook group told me this would work. We'll find out. Awesome. Alright, so we have continuity over there, which we want. Let's clean it off, and then I'm going to take it to the shop, and if everything works out, I'll come back and do an update. Okay, one last inspection. I just wanted to get a close-up look at this and see if I need to run some conformal coating. I don't think so. It's not really in a danger area, so I don't think we're going to be grounding with anything. Alright, on second thought, I decided to go ahead and put some solder mask over that. So we'll put a little bit of solder mask on, we'll cure it. Just enough to make sure our wire here anyway, I'm going to cure it, throw my big lamp on there. Actually, I think I can do it with the laser. But anyway, we'll just do it with the laser. I won't do it on screen. Save your eyes. Actually, I should be saving my eyes too. Putting on my UV protective glasses. Alright, we should be good to go. Now, I will be back this time once I know the result. Okay, update. Everything worked great on this, so that's it for this repair. The shop did update me on the status of it, and we were good to go. Everything worked great. So, if you have any questions about the equipment I used in this video, I guess in summary, we had a dorked up HDMI port on the PS5. They knocked components off the board, including a couple of critical ones. We had to do a workaround on some of the critical ones because we don't have donor boards for these yet, at least at the time of this recording. So we had to, improvise. We used a diode, an HDMI diode or a DJ diode from a PS4, and that did the job. The rest of the stuff was not critical, and that was it. If you have any questions about the equipment I used in this video, take a look in the description below. They're all Amazon linked down there, Amazon associate link. So if you click on any of those links and buy anything, it benefits the channel. So you don't have to actually buy a piece of equipment or something like that. But all my equipment is down there if you want to buy that too. There's also some other support links if you're interested in doing that. Don't feel obligated, but any support is appreciated. If you liked the video, do me a favor and hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like it, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. And you'll know when I post videos, which is usually about twice a week. That's all I had to ask you. I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate the channel support. And we'll see you next time.